Good morning, good morning, good morning. Here we are again. Go ahead and get this done. Hi, what's up? Brothers and sisters, thank you for joining me. Here we are on day 35. We've been doing this for a whole month, every single day. Proverbs, definitely a good book to go through. You need something to go through. This is the book to go through because it helps you with good advice, practical advice for living life in this world where it's pretty hard sometimes to live in the world. Is definitely needing of some advice, and Proverbs is the way to go, which focuses on wisdom and right living. So if this is what you need to help you get through the day, yeah, just continue to join me, and we'll continue with the journey together. So we're here on Proverbs 10, 4 through 5. These are these standalone little sayings, a verse or two each, and we'll just kind of talk about them and see where it leads us. First impressions. We can also look at commentaries or things that we don't understand. Google is a thing. ChatGPT is a thing. I'm not a Bible scholar, although I do know the Bible a little bit. But I do enjoy the habit of going through the Bible, and I feel like that is an important part of our daily walk with Christ, is to have our daily time in reading. And hopefully you find some time for a daily time in prayer, and also time to spend alone with God. Those are basics. We could go over the other stuff at another time. I did talk about great habits, and hopefully you have great habits to go ahead and become further into the life of Christ. And a good starting point is to read your Bible daily and in prayer. Okay. So we're in Proverbs 10, 4 through 5. And it says, "A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps in harvest is a son who brings shame." It's pretty straightforward. And I guess if you're having a hard time um, finding purpose, I think a really good purpose is to love God and love others with that purpose in mind, and living your life in that way, which can be found in the Gospels, which is our great commandment: love God, love others. In summary, again, I told this before that I did specifically memorize it. Morning, my brother. But loving God, loving others is a good purpose to have in life. So in this particular verses, it's with that in mind, um, to be able to love yourself, love others, is also this idea of loving yourself, and how you deal your time, how you make time for yourself and make time for you to grow is in and how you use your time is really important. We got 24 hours in the day. How do you use it? Uh, One thing is finding your career is sort of a important part of being a part of this society, and so one, you are contributing to the idea of society by creating a product, providing a service, or something like that. That's kind of things. And generally speaking, like an 8 hour day is 40 hours a week is kind of like I call that maybe a baseline of when you're working full time providing for a family and all that. A 9 to 5 is sort of like the baseline. And being diligent in that matter is kind of important. So he says it here. It's contrasting this idea of the slack hand here. I'll put that in the versus the hand of the diligent. So if you do not do anything in life, well, you're going to be in poverty, right? Kind of makes sense. You're not doing anything, you're stuck at home, you'll be in poverty. But if you're working and doing what you need to do, rich. It's kind of self-explanatory. He who gathers in summer. It's this little contrast. Is a prudent son. He who sleeps in harvest. Oh, that's supposed to be yellow. Yeah, bring shame. So it's a call for every person, every man, every woman to participate in the life that was given to you. Whether you're having a hard time or not, this is kind of how it is. If you're having a hard time, you still have to be diligent. Try to find what you have to do. There is this RNG factor of a random number generator. It's a gaming term, meaning some people get rolled a good hand, some people get rolled a bad hand, or like playing poker and stuff like that. You get a good hand, you get a bad hand. But with the hand that you have been dealt, you have to try the best that you can with what you have. And there will always be people that feel like they have more. Rich people, people who are, I guess I would call it legacy wealth. If you want to talk about wealth, the legacy material wealth. If they have a lot of capital, they have generational wealth, and they're well off. But people have generational wealth that is not actually not wealthy at all. I come from a family that is sort of, I guess you would call it middle class. I had a house. I have a house. My parents had a house. My stepfather was able to buy a house. But my mom and my dad never really had property. But my grandmother had property on my dad's side. No, it was my mom's side. And she, that house was basically given to, or my cousin, who's a few years younger than me, took over the house, and she basically bulldozed the whole property, and then she built a new house. Actually, it was pretty beautiful, and I haven't gotten to see the inside of it yet. But driving by, she wasn't home. Driving by, I went ahead and saw it, and it was a beautiful house. So she takes care of our property. So that would be kind of like our generational. We have one property in this world that actually belongs to us. But other than that, my mom, my dad, we've always been renting. I've been renting, but that is in no means a reason why for us not to continue to work. And so maybe one day we'll have a house, maybe not, but that's not the issue. The issue is, am I being diligent in my time, working, providing for my family, doing the best I can to, I would say, grind in life. It gets kind of tiring to do grinding and stuff like that, but and there are moments where I kind of like just need to rest, but then that's another issue, just resting. It's okay to rest, but in the back of my mind, I still have this idea of I need to be working. I need to kind of provide. And I guess the slack hand person, who just wants to just not to do anything. The slack hand person is, I feel like they don't have that inner desire to kind of, maybe they're just depressed. Maybe they just got hit down or pummeled down by life or something like that. And, but even then, you have to kind of continue to move forward, stuff like that. Um, so it means, so the slack hand versus the hand of diligence is a pretty good contrast. It's easy to see that. Like if you don't do anything, if you're staying at home playing video games, and obviously you're mooching off other people because you're not creating anything, you're not providing a service, you're not whatever. Like I guess in that sense, you might as well become a streamer. Hopefully one of the best streamers that you could ever be, so you could make your own daily income. Because what you're doing is you're having other people provide for you and to help you live, and that's not the way to go. Because you yourself have to be able to make a living in the world. Um, Creating something, providing a service. Is there another thing you could do? I guess another thing you do is govern, govern, but that's kind of providing a service. Creating something is you're actually building. So, for instance, I'm an educator, so I teach English. I've been teaching English for about 20 years. I guess that would be considered providing a service. Or I could have been working at, which I wanted to be. I wanted to be a computer software engineer. So I would be creating programs, which I think my intention was to create video games when I was in middle school. So I would be creating video games, which would be interesting. I realized that wasn't my calling to be that person. I love creating still, creating, but I'm right now providing a service. Providing a service. If I'm creating, I guess I'd be creating disciples. Is that still a service? Training. Hmm. You can go ahead and let me know on that one. The other one is gathering versus sleeping. Gathering in summer is it's interesting. Gathering is this idea of you're putting something in a safe to be used for later. And I think because right after is harvest, because it goes summer and harvest. Again, harvest is when the fruits of like the harvest, when you plant something in a field, they grow, and in the harvest time, you cut them down so that you harvest the fruit, so you can eat it or sell it. And during that time, people are working really hard to get that fruit or vegetable, whatever it is you're harvesting, be doing it. And so, if you don't harvest it, the fruit gets overripe and it rots and all that kind of stuff. And so, this idea of gathering versus sleeping, okay? Meaning there are times when you can go ahead and rest and sleep, but there are times when you need to go out there and do the work. And I think that has to do with timing. So during the day, like if you want to go in the traditional sense, 9 to 5 is the time when you should be gathering and working and doing things. And then your rest time goes from 5 till like the other time. Also, if you're uh, following the way or the Christian values, following Jesus, is that there is a day that you should set aside to for rest, and usually that's a Sunday. Go and rest on a Sunday. You shouldn't be at work. You should have this time to rest, and you don't have to be ultra conservative and you can't do anything like lifting like boards or I think Jesus said it like this. If your cow goes into the ditch, I don't know where this came from. Cow goes into the ditch, wouldn't you get it out of the ditch or something like that? There are some things that you will be doing which would be considered work, but the idea is like, I guess it would be like mental rest. Because sometimes I do some chores on Sunday. Like sometimes I just have to sweep. Dishes still have to be done, but it's still considered my day of rest. Um, if you want to get into further types of way in which to have a rest, one way that I do in our family is called Shabbat, and we have a we have a ritual. We do communion together. We do like a Bible verse together, and we pray together, talk about our lives and stuff like that. It takes about half an hour, maybe an hour, depending on our discussion and stuff like that. But it's kind of like a routine we do or a tradition routine, either one of those that indicates okay for the next 24 hours we're just going to relax and kind of enjoy our time and not worry about work. I've been pretty good about keeping that. Uh, we start on a Saturday about 1 o'clock, and it goes all the way through Sunday, the next day about 1 o'clock, which gets us into certain like if you go to church on Sundays and stuff like that, and then after church on Sundays, it's kind of like okay, it's time to get ready for the week. For me, it's like um, getting my mind mentally prepared to teach, because that's what I do. So I do lesson plannings, grade papers, or whatever it is, like Sunday afternoons. Okay, the kids have their final like screen time, but then they take out trash. We do dishes, do dinner, and stuff like that. And get ready, uh, get our mind back into the groove of into the week. And so, but yeah, it's okay to sleep. It's okay to rest, but there's a timing to it all. But um, I'm not going to go into society and everything like that. And I could go in, I don't know how deep I could get into the gamer and screen time society that's prevalent in our culture of this idea of raising our kids on screens, giving our kids iPads and giving them our phones so that they could watch TikToks or YouTube shorts or watching movies or playing phone video games or something like that. That's a whole other issue. And I feel like that is slack hand. That that is a way in which to um, soften the blow of the work that they have to do. So my students, the majority of them have phones and they're listening to music and all this kind of stuff. And we do have things in place of you're not supposed to do that, but still in their minds they have this idea of being on screens and this idea of work. Um, they understand that they have to do work, but being diligent in that, and the word diligent has this connotation of constant or not giving up, or so there's this whole idea of you're working for a purpose and you have a specific goal in mind and you're diligently working because you're trying to accomplish something. So working diligently, and I believe that people who do work diligently have a better percentage chance. I'll say this: I don't think it will make you quote quote rich in a sense of I'm going to be a millionaire, but it actually gives you a percentage chance to be um, materially more wealthy. Okay. It will decide whether well say like that all you could do is work at McDonald's. Okay, if you work diligently at McDonald's, there is a possibility that you could progress in your position at McDonald's and make more money. It is possible in that sense. So maybe your income won't be as good as like a high power CEO who's making um, six figures or more. at a big company. No, it's not like that, but you'll be doing well for yourself because you've been working diligently and people recognize you as a hard worker and everything. You don't sleep during the harvest. You're prudent in the matter of when you're working really hard, and people recognize that. You get trustworthy because you're living a life of wisdom, because she is a part of your life. You walk with her, she calls you, and you follow. um, you're following the seven pillars of wisdom: having peace, um, being gentle, and being a man of integrity or a woman of integrity in the workplace, and you're working diligently. Obviously people recognize that, and you could go ahead and progress. It's possible. For my part, I'm trying to become an administrator, and one of that is being able to be a leader with students, not just teaching in class, but managing and teaching a class. And teaching content is one thing, but managing students to do activities and stuff like that. So I'm a club coordinator, advisor, however you would say. And so, am I providing opportunities for my students to take leadership positions and do activities where they are in charge and they are the ones that are having the agency to grow and learn in their own leadership, kind of like being a disciple learner in in the secular world. And that's what I'm doing with my students. Also, when I'm with my team, am I being a good leader? Um, it's not necessarily my team, but we work together and stuff like that. So can I lead adults? That's another thing. So as I'm getting used to that, being taking leadership roles, um, so in practice I can be a leader, but then technically I still need to be diligent in getting my tests together and finishing um, the the process in which to become an administrator, which is a bunch of tests and stuff like that that I have to do. So that's another thing. And yeah, I will have continued to increase my wealth in that area, and I could be rich, make a little bit more money. The ultimate goal for us as a family, with my wife and I, is so that when I move to a different place, I will have that administrative credential, called administrative service credential. Have that credential, have experience of leading people, and actually maybe be an admin at a school or a district, whatever that may be. I'm not saying that I want to be the principal of a school or anything like that, but I don't mind being like a vice principal. That's fine. But a principal, I don't know if that's me. Maybe I haven't realized my calling in being the main leader, but I know that I am a leader, sub leader, or the lieutenant or something like that, which I'm really good at following other people's visions. But I myself have a vision too, so I don't know. When you are the main leader, do you have a vision in which other people is able to follow? It's a positive vision that people could get behind you and then follow you. Yeah, that's basically what it means to be a leader, is that you have a vision and then others will follow you, and you're able to disseminate to the people who are following you information in a way that helps them progress in the vision that you're having for them. So I don't know. That's kind of a thing. But this whole verse, chapter 10, verses 4 through 5, is all about your intention. What are you doing? And are you doing things to further progress yourself as a person in the workplace? That you are providing a product, service, creating something or a service or something that will benefit society around you. And if you're going to go with the streaming gaming thing, you're providing entertainment. So that's another, that's the other one. If you could provide entertainment, actors and actresses or stuff, something like that. If you're an artist, stuff like that, you could do that. But when you're online, um, you're providing entertainment. Are you entertaining? Are you good at what you do in that entertainment, if it's a game or something like that? Um, and will people kind of, you don't have any control of that, but you can control how you are to get people to be attracted to watch your content. So, but if you're creating content, that's actually being diligent, because you're creating videos and filming things at a high level and people recognize when a video is like well made. Are you doing that? And that's the same thing as an educator. Am I teaching content and managing my class, but am I doing it at a high level, getting my students motivated to learn or to finish the work and stuff like that? Am I using a variety of different methods so that I'm not doing the same thing over and over again? Which you could follow a trap in. You could fall into that trap. It's easy. Oh, it's the worksheet again. You're learning different content, but you're doing the worksheet. So you have to find different ways to reach your students other than the same ways over and over. Again, this is the whole idea of being diligent in the things that you're doing. Okay, don't be lax. The lax people in the poverty, basically poverty, and as an educator. So, oh my gosh, there's that packet again. That's so boring. So that I guess you don't have too much control over what your students think, but you can try to provide it a product or content or present content in a way that's interesting, meaningful, and everything. And that has to do with helping the content be relatable to them. So I don't know. That's just educator talk. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this time. Um, yeah, keep on walking on, my brothers. We are journeying together, and it's not easy. We do our best. We carry on. We be diligent, and not sleep. We don't need to sleep. Use the most of every moment that you have. You only have 24 hours in the day. Be productive. Do the best that you can. And then when God calls you home, he could kind of say, well done, good and faithful servant. And he'll be leading you into the promised land. Until then, I'll probably see you then too, over there in the promised land. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.